Hooty-hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. It's Monday, March 29th. The stock market is down a little bit today. Okay, so that's all fine. The Nasdaq's down about 100. The Dow's down about 100. They're giving some back. Interest rates are starting to creep up, and that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. Interest rates at 10 years around 1.7. What we're really going to talk about today is real estate. There are some fascinating things going on with real estate. Now, I've been hearing from a lot of people there's this FOMO in real estate, pushing prices higher, the fear of missing out. People are thinking of diving in even at these record high prices with the record short inventory. They just extended the eviction moratorium. It was scheduled to expire on the 30th of this month of March. Of course, they extended it out to June, and they're probably even going to extend it out till September. You just watch. They can't let this go away. Now, why can they not let this go away? Well, you got 20 to 30 million people not paying their rent right now. It's a great time. Now, in California, we have some really strange laws about evictions. There was a couple. They bought a house, right? They bought a house. They paid $560,000 in cash for the house down in Southern California. Now, they bought this house in January of 2020. They're still not moved into the house. Why? What happened? What went wrong? Well, the seller, they said they needed to do a rent back for a month to find a place to live. Well, they didn't find one, so they're still living in the house over a year later. And you know what? The buyer that put the $560,000 cash down, what can they do? They can't do anything. The laws are protecting that seller from moving out because of the eviction moratorium. That seller became a renter. He's no longer an owner. He sold his house, pocketed the cash, and he's just sitting there smiling all the way because the buyer cannot move into the house, can't get the renter out. The seller became the renter, and you cannot evict in California. Isn't that crazy? Now, here's something interesting. In California, Governor Newsom, he signed this bill into effect where the government pays 80% of the rent if the tenant won't pay. They'll give the landlord 80%, but the landlord has to eat 20%. Okay, I think that sounds pretty good for the landlord, right? He gets 80% of his rent. A lot of the landlords aren't doing it because they're upset. If they accept that deal, they cannot sue the tenant for that extra 20%. They cannot evict that tenant. That is their done deal. Why should they have to be forced to cut their service price? Forced by the law. Now, here's what's funny. This is what I hear. I'm a real estate broker, so I get to hear some of this stuff. Here's what I hear. There are some tenants that are actually making deal with their landlords to pay them 30% of the rent in cash and have the landlord go get 80% from Governor Newsom. So the landlord gets 30% in cash from the tenant, gets 80% from Governor Newsom. He gets more money than before. He gets 110%. And the renter only has to pay 30%. Now, I'm not condoning this. This is fraud. This is bad. But it's a free-for-all on the money they're handing out from the government. It's a free-for-all in the PPP loans. It's a free-for-all out there. But this FOMO, this fear of missing out in the housing market, this will come to an end. Now, right now in the United States, there's about 500,000 homes for sale. Maybe a little more than that. Let's call it even, 600,000. Okay, so there's 600,000 homes for sale. Well, the funny part is there's 1.2 million real estate agents in the United States. That's 2 real estate agents for every house that's for sale. Inventory is at such a record low right now. Now, eventually, there's going to be more inventory coming onto the market. Now, where's it coming from? Builders aren't building because the house building costs have skyrocketed. They doubled, they tripled in some areas. So the builders are saying we're not building because After all, if they build right now, there is an affordability problem. No one will be able to afford the homes that they're building, even with these low interest rates we have. But here's the thing. Interest rates are starting to creep back up, right? Okay, they're back above 3%. Now what happens? What would happen? Now people say this is impossible, but what would happen if we had a flash crash in the bond market? Now, a flash crash is when the bonds would just crash. All right, interest rates would spike up. Now, we've had this in the repo market, and interest rates spiked up above 10%. If we get a flash crash in the bond market, let's just say interest rates go to 6 or 8%. And that could easily happen. That's just normal, right? But people say, oh no, Mike, that can't happen. What would that do to real estate? I'm telling you, it would put a standstill on the buyers. There would be no buyers because no one can afford to buy the houses now. And the house payment would double from here. I'm telling you, there's going to be a pullback in real estate. Nobody believes it, and they're trying to kick this can down the road because they have to keep real estate prices high. They have to keep it propped up. They just have to. They can't let these real estate prices come down because the whole market's come down. Real estate comes down, the stock market's going to come down, and while the bond market is probably what's going to bring the real estate market down. When the bond market crashes and we're at a 5,000-year low on interest rates, which means basically a 5,000-year high on bonds, when that market pops, when that debt bubble breaks and that crashes, we're going to see the interest rates spike up. And I don't know what it's going to take to crash that market. I don't know. Maybe they can kick the can down the road another year. I don't think they can. Now, yeah, I think they can kick the eviction moratorium down another year. I think they can kick forbearance out another year, but I don't think that bond market's going to hold up for another year. We'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. I've been wrong a lot, but I don't know. I would not worry about missing out on this real estate market. I'm a real estate broker. I should be telling you to buy. I should be telling you to jump in with both feet. Buy now, buy now, buy now. Look I'm telling you, there is this incredible shortage of homes right now. Okay, inventory's non-existent. Nobody's selling. We got COVID. Nobody's selling. Okay, interest rates are still low, but they're moving higher. Okay, so those are the two things right now that are keeping the shortage going. Okay, if a house comes on, you get 20, 30 bids on that house right now. Do you want to buy a house when everyone wants it, or do you want to buy a house when nobody wants it? I'm telling you, all markets shift. We go from a buyer's market to a seller's market and back and forth, sellers to buyers. All markets shift. This market will shift too. Now, granted, they don't want it to shift. They want to keep it this way. They want to keep it going up. Now, Zillow will tell you we're going to go up another 10, 15% this year. I don't know. Maybe. I'm telling you, the interest rates are going up, and this is going to send the market down. It's going to send the buyers away. The affordability factor is going to go away. When no one can afford to buy a home buying stops. It just does. And it's just to a seller's market. And when sellers start to see the price of the homes going down, they're going, I want out. And they do it all at the same time. They all put their house on at the same time. Now, real estate's not like the stock market where it can crash in one day, but it can crash in 3 to 6 months real easily. Real estate can come down. It will come down. Don't. This FOMO, this fear of missing out. Hey, I get it. There's things holding this market up. I mean, look at building costs. Look at inflation. They're both out there. Inflation's going up. Building costs is going up. And this is keeping the supply down because the builders aren't building. Look at Biden. He wants to come in and give first-time home buyers $15,000 for the down payment. Is this the right thing to do? I don't know. Yeah, he's trying to prop up the housing market, what he's trying to do. Because he's worried. He's worried it might come down. What's he going to do, though? He wants to take away the 1031 exchange from investors. Well, that's going to send the investors out of the housing market, and they're going to send their homes onto the market. A lot of investors don't want to be there anymore because they cannot collect rents, because they changed the Constitution, because they changed the law. They can't collect rents from their tenants. They want out of the business. What used to be a great business of being a landlord, of being a property manager, they now want out because they can't collect rents. Let me tell you a little secret here. I'm a real estate broker. If you have properties, a lot of you can't find good tenants. You know why? You know why? You're doing it wrong. You're doing it wrong. Okay, so here's how people manage properties. This is how I used to do it. People come in, they fill out an application, you go check their credit score. Credit score is high, you say, okay, you can have the property. I've had many evictions. The system didn't work when I was doing it that way. Here's what I do now. Now, this is very interesting. I don't even check their credit scores when I manage properties. I don't check their credit score. You know what I do? When that person comes over to the house to rent it, I make them fill out the application. I don't tell them I'm not going to check their credit score. No. What I ask for is 3 names. 3 names of people that can vouch for them. Now, I don't even know if this is legal to do, but this is what I do. I ask for 3 names, and they give me those 3 names of their people. They can be their friends, they can be their relatives, they can be anyone. And I call up those 3 people. And I ask, how is this person? Are they reliable? Would you vouch for them? I even go as far to ask, if they didn't pay their rent, would you pay their rent? Most people back off at that point, but some people actually say they would. But I check those 3. And if I got a good feeling from each of those 3 people, then I might rent to them. But here's my other little secret. Okay, so when they come to rent, they fill out the application. Now, as we're leaving, as we're done with the little interview, the little meeting, and I got the 3 names of the people, I walk out with them to their car. I take a look at their car. How do they keep their car? Is their car clean? Is their car just a total mess inside? How they keep care of their car is how they're going to take care of your property. Look, I don't care if the car's old or new, if they're rich or poor. They could be driving a Nissan Sentra or a Mercedes, but I want to see how they take care of it. Is the car washed? Is the car clean inside? Is it a total pigsty? This gives me an indication of what the tenant's going to do to my property. Okay, so that's how I rent to tenants. 3 people to vouch for them, and what their car looks like. This is just my secret. I'm a real estate broker, and I have managed many properties along the way, and I've never had a problem when I did it that way. When I check their credit scores, make them go through the routine, that didn't always work. But this is just a little side story. Don't worry about that. But anyways, do not fall for this FOMO, this fear of missing out in the market. I'm telling you, right now is not a good time to be buying a home. There is no inventory, too many buyers. This will shift to a lot of inventory and few buyers. It might take 6 months. It might take a year. They might kick this can a little farther down the road, but it will shift. Mark my words. I'm Tall Mike. If you like this stuff, give me a thumbs up. If you like it a lot, hit that subscribe button. I'm a stock market gambler. Get out there. Have a great Monday, everybody, and we'll talk real soon. Bye-bye now.